Seemed like Hampton was really cutting toward the lane, and in that second quarter, I think he scored 15 straight points.
I was pretty frustrated with our team. One is because we just didn't impose our will on them from a defensive standpoint. I understand sometimes offensively things aren't going to go your way, but defense and rebounding are two areas in which you can't control. I think we lost the first quarter rebounding to them, and I just thought that was disgraceful for, the team that we put on the floor. And then, our defense, our Bob defense was horrendous. And I just, told our players we need to play better. We need to pick it up and stop playing soft.
Coach, feeding off that question there a little bit, you have 3 games in 3 days. How do you get the team to come out with the right intensity as they might get fatigued as the next couple of games go on?
Well, I think that's when depth has to, play a part in what we're doing, and hopefully, throughout these 3 games that we'll be able to play a little bit more of our players. But we're still trying to get to know one another. We're still trying to figure out what combinations work best, and unfortunately, sometimes, you got to play, some of your players that you would normally, give a little rest to, having, such a big lead. But we're still working through things. We're still trying to figure out, what combinations work best, and until we get that, we'll have to use games to figure it out.
How nice was it to see Asia Wilson's 14 for 14 performance from the free throw line? And I think overall you hit 28 of 35. I know you're probably pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, it was good to see the ball go in, from that standpoint, to kind of balance out what's taking place in the first game in Ohio State and Benedict. So, I think we just got to continue to work on them, keep our players confident when they go to the free throw line, and it's just, a good place to start.
Dawn, do you think Age is a little rusty after taking the summer off, and that it might take her a couple of games to really get into the swing?
Yeah, she looks a little rusty, and I don't think she played a whole lot, as far as organized. I thought she took the summer off to kind of recoup a little bit, and she's kind of paying for it right now. But hopefully she'll work those things out. I think we got a team in which will allow her to kind of shake the rust off and get into season form.
Coach, you talked about it after the first game when Wilson kind of struggled, didn't have her best performance. Now Davis, after a monster game, struggles a little bit. How do you kind of manage players like that, really talented, and don't necessarily play to the level they want to day in and day out?
I mean, it's hard, it's hard to maintain that, especially when you're playing with other great players. Obviously, Kayla's shot wasn't as accurate and efficient as she was the other night. But if you look at her stat line, she does so many other great things that you're gonna see her what she's her what the tools in her toolbox are all about. She's not just a scorer. She's a facilitator. She's a rebounder. She can do a lot of things out there. She can play multiple positions. So, although her scoring was down, everything else was up, and her presence on the floor, helps our team from an offense and defensive standpoint.
Dawn, how instrumental can Alicia Gray be? I mean, 24 the other night, 16 tonight, but nobody really talking about her as a main linchpin of this team.
Yeah, well, she's always one that falls under the radar. She's going to be probably our most consistent perimeter player, just as far as, scoring the ball, rebounding the ball, getting out and defending. And, sometimes when you have a personality like Alicia, people tend to forget about you. So she's somewhat of our silent assassin. She's always going to, she's always going to give the same effort every time she steps on the floor. She's very, very competitive. And, some players, in the whole fold of what we have to play that role. Because if everybody wants the spotlight, it's just not enough room.
Two bigs bounce back, have a really good game today, Coates and Wilson. What did you kind of talk to them about to reestablish themselves in the paint, especially Coates today? It seemed like every single bucket came from within 2 feet.
Well, I mean, the two of them know, where we want to start our offense. They know that they didn't have, the type of performance that we need them to have night in and night out. And what they do is they responded. I thought our team responded in giving them the ball and putting them in positions where they can be effective, all night long. And I think it's a mark of a really good team when you can be aware of those things and make it happen. Now we just got to get everybody flowing all at the same time.
Anything else for Coach Staley? Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.